Hello and welcome to Breaking Geek Radio, the podcast, the premier flagship and international podcast of LRM Online. I'm your host, Brendan Jones, and on this week's show, we're down a lad. Nick is at the dentist. Where is he? Is he moving?
Moving house.
He's moving his house. Yeah. Okay. Did that come up suddenly? Do we know that?
No, it didn't. We've known about this for a long time, which is a nice change of pace when it comes to Nick.
Holy shit.
Is this a polite way of saying he's going to prison? Is this how you say it in America? I'm moving house.
Moving house. What you really mean is the big house.
Oh, that's it. Sorry, yes, the big house. That's it.
Yeah.
Not the outhouse, the big house.
So no, on this week's show,
hopping aboard Con Air, heading from with Nicolas Cage to another.
See,
location.
That would have been a great joke for last week. You should have been moving last week. We need to talk about this stuff.
Fucking Nick.
Fuck's sake, Nick, move at the right.
God damn it, Nick. Yeah.
It was convenient for the jokes. On this week's podcast, we don't have a film to talk about, but we're going to be doing Who Watches in addition to, we got a couple of trailers this week. We also have a bunch of shows that we're watching. So we're going to talk to you guys about those things and hopefully have fun doing so at the same time, right? Everybody's ready to have fun? Gemma, what are you doing?
I refuse to have fun.
He's not eating. This is what's confusing me. Jammer's not actually eating anything.
He's not Brad Pitt.
Damn it, man. Put some food in your mouth.
You got a Brad Pitt every show.
30 minutes ago, or 15 minutes before we hopped on.
Okay. Well, you must be due some more food by now then.
I got a beer, so
that'll do.
That's good.
That's a food group.
That'll do, pig. Mm-hmm. That'll do.
It's called Fruit Ninja, so it has fruit in it. So
there you go. It's something really good for you.
Yeah, like the game.
Is that the slice?
It is like the game.
I mean, it's obviously inspired by it.
I don't know. I'm asking. I don't. Oh yeah, that's totally it. That's interesting.
There you go.
Fascinating.
And that actually works now because we're on YouTube. Otherwise, that was a boring piece of podcast. But now we can actually see stuff.
For the people listening to this on SoundCloud or Spotify or whatever podcast, Jammer held up his. What is that? Is an LRM endorsed beer? Is that? Can we do that?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Other beers are available.
For the full experience of this podcast, make sure you check out the GenreVerse Podcast Network on YouTube.
Also sponsored by Fruit Ninja Beer?
Yes.
Okay.
Please drink responsibly.
We've got a couple of trailers that came out this week that we wanted to have a conversation about. One of them I did not see or did not know about, and then the other one was just like everywhere. So we're talking about Night Sky, and we're also talking about Jurassic World Domination. We'll do like
Dominion.
the smaller.
Dominion.
Is it?
Dominion.
Damn it. I got nicked because I think you did the same thing.
Freudian slip from Jonesy. Yeah. Dominatrix dinosaur.
Dominatrix dinosaurs. I love it. That's what I need to
World
say.
Dominate me.
No, listen. So the smaller of the two films is Night Sky, and that stars.
It's not a film. It's a series.
Is it a series on Amazon? I'm sorry. Yep. It's a series on Amazon. Man, I'm struggling today. So this series stars Sissy Spacek and J.K. Simmons, and it kind of has like a John Carter of Mars type of feel to it. And if you guys have never seen that or never read the books, there's like this teleportation aspect to it where you get teleported to another world. And it seems like that's what's happening in this trailer. I like that it's not based on any property that I'm familiar with. I like the people that are involved. I like J.K. Simmons. I like Sissy Spacek. And so to me, it's intriguing just based on the fact that it's not based on an existing IP that I am aware of. We'll get to that later. And I'm excited. I'm excited. Intrigued. Intrigued is a good word for this. Jammer, you just watched
intriguing.
It, right?
I did, but really quick, I was just doing some information on it, and it was previously known as Light Years, and I wonder if they changed it because the movie Light Years is coming out this year so that it's less confusing. I actually was intrigued by this trailer for one reason. Obviously, it actually looks very interesting and beautiful in terms of the overall imagery, but for me, the imagery that reminded me of it was a YouTube video I watched probably like a decade ago or something that always stuck with me, where it talked about how like over time stars are shifting around and we're going through space, so things are going to be changing, and they're talking about how like billions and billions and billions of years in the future, like we'll be like the galaxy, a galaxy, I don't know which galaxy, will be like all up in our grills every fucking night. And I just reminded me of that, just thinking of like life like that with a galaxy just like straight in our faces, and that's the view that they get to watch in this show. And just maybe really, I want that kind of imagery. That imagery is amazing. Those types of things that are kind of depressing when you think about it in terms of space and light years and sci-fi, those things that like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if we were a part of this part, but we're not because we're going to fucking die in, 50 years and we'll never get to experience these huge intergalactic level visuals that'll just be in our imaginations. I think it's really cool. So nothing to do with the trailer,
that took a dark turn.
But it looked great. It did.
Dark, depressing. What have you been watching? What the fuck? Why are you so
I've been watching Severance.
Now I know. Now I know why you're so cynical. Danny, you were the one that brought this trailer. Danny, you're the one that brought this trailer to our attention. What do you think of it?
Yeah, the first thing that grabbed me is very much like you, the people that were involved and the fact that the trailer itself at the moment doesn't give anything away. I mean, it gives the basic premise, like you said. Look at John Carter from Mars. This lovely couple are living together, but they've got access to this teleportation system that takes them to another planet where they seem to just relax and read books and do knitting or whatever. That seems to be the premise of it. And that was it. I love the fact that it doesn't give too much away. And that's what sold me on it. It looked beautiful. The people involved are obviously people that I've got confidence they're going to be in something quality. And it wasn't giving anything away. So I think even you and I, or you had said that I don't want to see another trailer even. I'm happy to avoid the next trailer if it comes up, just so I can go in completely cold on this one. So yeah, I'm excited by it because it does look different. It's not an existing IP that we know of, and I'm excited to see actually how it plays out and what the actual story is. Do we know how many episodes it was? I mean, I know it's a series. Jammer,
I did not see that. Jammer, were you looking at it?
10 or?
No, I don't think it's specified how many it is. But
I hope it's relatively
for those who
short.
haven't seen it,
sweet spot, right? 6 to 8.
I agree. I think 6 is too short. I think like 8 to 10 is a good for me personally.
Yeah.
But anyways, as far as concept, for those who haven't seen it, it is in its barest form about a couple that have like a chamber that goes to another planet, and they get to just chill, drink beer, and check out the views from another planet, which is pretty awesome. And I'm jealous, and I want that skill. It's not really a skill, but I want that chamber.
You want the chamber? Okay.
Yeah.
Somebody give Jammer that chamber. We won't have long to get the fictional chamber. The show is going to drop on 20 May of this year. So just next month, 1 month from soonish. 1 month from
less than that, 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Less than that.
Time is moving. Time isn't moving. Anything else to say about this?
Quickly enough, we'll never get to see that view because we're all going to be dead by then. So.
Oh, well, fucking Mr. Happy.
Yeah.
Have another beer.
And so in this world where we're dead in 50 years, just out of curiosity, how you imagine it happening?
Oh, I'm not talking about humanity. I'm just talking about we're not going to live long enough.
Us, the people here in this podcast.
Okay, the people, I mean, maybe not 50 years. That might maybe longer. My point is that because intergalactic things happen and they move so slowly, we're not actually going to, it's like those things where it's like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if we went to other planets? It's like, we're not going to other planets. It's not going to happen. We don't have nearly enough time. And even if we were to hop on a ship, we'd be fucking put to sleep. Or we do what's that one series called? That one sci-fi series where you just live generations in a ship and your generation doesn't even get there. It's like several generations out before you reach another galaxy or what have you. That my point is that we're not going to experience anything cool intergalactic in our lifetimes. That's my point.
You never know.
I do know. I could guarantee you. None of us here are going into space. None.
That hurts.
0% of this chat is going into space.
You know what? Just for that, I want to go into space. I'm going to do it.
Just for that.
Just for that.
When you're like an 80-year-old man, you're like, this son of a bitch.
Shatner did it. I can do it.
You can do it, Jonesy. I have faith in you.
If Shatner made it up and down, I can do it.
If any one of us has got the connections, it's you.
I don't have faith. It's not going to happen.
Fly planes and shit.
And you listening,
I've got faith of the heart.
You will. Everyone listening or watching, you're not going to space either. It's not
happening. Jesus Christ! Moving on. Moving on. You know who didn't get to experience iPhones? Dinosaurs. We're going to talk about them next. So the dinosaurs were all upset that they never got to experience anything tactile besides killing each other. We get to see a movie about them
because these ones they don't have finger pads. They have nails, and those aren't conducive. to phones in current technology.
So yeah, we got another trailer for Jurassic World Dominion. This is the second trailer for this film that's coming out this summer. It's going to drop on June 10th. This one, at least to my recollection, seemed a little bit more actiony than the first one.
A lot of it.
I don't remember the first one.
Like, the other one was like all just sort of mood and iconic imagery and faces turning.
I'm gonna level with you. These films are forgettable. That means the trailers are even more forgettable. And so, sure, if you tell me that, yeah.
Sorry, I'm just trying to make a constructive conversation about the topic of discussion. No, fuck me then, right?
Hey, part of my constructive part of the conversation is these films are just generally boring. And they were like, hey, need some action. So they've got a fuck ton of action in this episode or this second trailer coming out. Nick Dahl posited that Ian Malcolm was going to die in this film. I don't know what he saw. I would love to pick his brain about what it is he saw.
No, I don't think he saw anything. I think he's just assuming because it's the last in a franchise or the last plan that we know of at this point, and they probably want like a big death. That's probably it. I don't think there's anything that he saw or anything that's in the trailer that indicates anything like that.
Okay. What you're saying is that Nick Dahl doesn't function on logic. Okay. I got it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's fair. It's like, it's conjecture.
I do think the thing that I found kind of interesting about this trailer is the plot line about a lot of this, or at least the B plot, is about them trying to get back this baby raptor because Chris Pratt made a promise to an adult raptor.
To Blue.
What I love, like what made me laugh about that was it looked like Blue admonished him for the baby being taken away because it looked like she smacked him with her tail, right? And cut him.
Yeah. No, it looked like a claw.
A talon? That was a talon?
Was it? I think it was a talon.
You think it was a talon?
Whatever.
I mean, it was a talon. It would cut his hand
now.
off. Tell us. You tell us.
I'm going to do it in a second. Hold on a second. I'm going to get her back. And then it's not clear. It's not clear.
Unclear. Let me tell you. You know what's clear to me? If she had used her talon, his hand would have just lopped off. It just.
What if the trailer has hidden the cybernetic hand? It's possible.
This isn't a Marvel.
We've seen
this isn't a Marvel
things.
movie. This is not Guardians of the Galaxy.
I mean, it could be.
It could be.
Yeah. You don't know. Okay, so
I guarantee that nobody on
Okay.
this podcast is going to go in that theater and it's going to be Guardians of the Galaxy. You people listening and watching, I can guarantee. You know what? I guarantee this. It's not going to happen.
What's not going to happen?
No one's going to space. No one's
going
going to see.
That's not going to be Guardians. There's no cybernetics in this.
No cybernetic. Oh, no cyber. Are you sure? There could be cybernetic. What if it's like a cybernetic eye, or we did have a clone already, so we're not too far off.
Damn, I hate that kid. I hate that kid so much. Anyway,
was that the girl in this trailer?
Yes,
was that that was the same girl?
That was.
I didn't remember having a British accent because it's been.
If you're asking me if it's the same actress, I could give zero fucks. If you're asking me if it's the same kid, yes, I am like 99% sure that it's supposed to be the same kid. The one that just has unleashed this ecological disaster on the world. And I love, like, in the first trailer, like, we did it. I was like, no. There's no we here. It was her.
Yeah,
there is
like,
quite
this
clearly
bitch did it.
one person to blame.
God, we. Danny, what'd you think about this trailer?
It was action heavy. It was people being chased by dinosaurs and/or eaten by dinosaurs. It's nothing that was getting me more excited about this movie. If I'm completely honest, I'm going to go watch it. I'm going to go see it to see how they wrap all these films up. But this trailer didn't exactly get me like, oh, fucking hell, I can't wait now. That's it. The one thing that I was pleasantly surprised for in a macabre kind of way is when I think it was a T-Rex, probably some other version of a T-Rex, did actually get that guy because he kind of dodged the first one or something. Of they're kind of keeping it off the trailer. Oh no, fuck me, he's going to get eaten. There you go. Dinosaurs are eating
the guy in the
scooter. Yeah,
that's it.
I think that's probably just meta commentary on how annoying those people can be, right? So
they should have had some guy in a Segway.
I think those are just as bad. I think the scooters are just
that's
as
the point. Oh, you think scooters are just as bad?
So the way that they kind of litter the streets, did a whole South Park episode on it. I think that's just somebody like, you know what, fuck those people.
Yeah. What the fuck are you doing out there? There's dinosaurs out there. Why would you go? Jeez.
I'm going to be the least cynical person about this trailer. I thought this trailer was fun. You know, one of the reasons I liked it and I thought was cool was because it was a globe hopping trailer. It looks like we're going all over the place. And I don't think we've legitimately gone all over the place with dinosaurs in the past. So you know what? Let's go to that next level. Let's go ahead and mix our genres a little bit more. So that's why I thought it looked like it was just a good time.
All right.
Well, we'll take that. You guys ready to move on?
Yeah, that's all we got about dinosaurs.
Speaking of dinosaurs, we got a few announcements from CinemaCon, and one of those is about Ethan Hunt and Tom Cruise. And so we finally have a title for the newest Mission Impossible film. It's going to be called Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning, Part 1. This was announced at CinemaCon on the stage. I think they were having a conversation about Top Gun Maverick as well. And the folks that were there at CinemaCon got to see footage of this. And so we, the normies, will get to see this footage in front of Top Gun Maverick, which is coming out on 27 May. So we'll get to see the stunts and all of the sizzles and all of the things that the people at CinemaCon got to see. What, Jammer, do you think about this title? Does it make you more or less intrigued about this film? How do you feel? No?
Well, I feel two things. One, I'm still surprised studios add parts to things because usually they change them. We saw that with Infinity War Part 1 and 2. No longer that the case. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse Part 1, no longer Part 1, Part 2. It's Beyond the Spider-Verse is the third one. I don't know why they went with the Part 1, Part 2 nomenclature. Also, Dead Reckoning, whatever. It's generic Mission Impossible title. Doesn't mean anything. Doesn't matter. Don't really care that much.
Interesting.
Those are my thoughts.
So it's funny. I'll let Danny. Danny, you go. What do you think?
I was just going to say, I literally was just going to say, yeah, what Jammer said. There's a good chance that they'll get rid of the Part 1. I don't like the Part 1. For me, it makes it feel like, oh, so we're not getting the whole movie. So I'm going to sit there and I'm not going to see a conclusion. Whereas at least Infinity War and Endgame, Infinity War was a conclusion of sorts, right? It did end on a point. I mean, we knew it was coming, but I don't like the Part 1.
No.
Well, no. We knew it was 2 parts, but I guess I just don't like the Part 1 being in there. I think 2 different titles makes it a bit easier to
I will never be on board with this narrative that Infinity War was a scandal. Like I hate. Hate is a strong word. I strongly dislike when they say that and try and sell it. Like anybody with half a brain was like, "Oh, they killed Spider-Man and Black Panther, the films that made like billions of dollars."
That's true. Very true.
Get the fuck out of here. Those are not standalone films.
You know what? But bothered me with that as well is that like for me now when I watch Infinity War, to me, it's half a movie. Endgame is a full movie. So now we have 1.5 movies in 2 movies. It's bullshit.
For my thoughts on the Dead Reckoning title, I actually kind of like it. And there are a couple of reasons why. I get what you guys are saying about what studios do, but I also think that Tom Cruise is one of those outsized personalities that has some input on this stuff. And if I believe that to be true, then I think there's a part of him that wants to manage expectations about what this movie is going to be and what people are going to get walking out of it. And so I'm hoping that that's true. I am assuming that, and then we talk about him like he's one of the last great movie stars, right? Like this, just like making these films. So I'm hoping that I'm intuiting some sort of strategy just from him, if no one else, not just the studio, because he has a lot of his own money in this. And so I'm hoping that means something. The Dead Reckoning part, Jammer, I hear what you're saying about generic, but to that point, every Mission Impossible title has meant something to the movie. Yeah, Ghost Protocol is a thing that happens in the movie. Fallout is a concern. What is
Ghost Protocol? What is that?
It's when they all have to disappear because the
don't they do that in every fucking movie though? I feel like they do that in every movie.
Disavowed is what IMF does to individual agents. Ghost Protocol is when the entire IMF is dissolved.
Yeah, from above, right? Okay. It was the government.
Okay.
You all done here? Are you all done here, Jammer? Can I finish my fucking point in your wrongness? Why don't you marinate your wrongness? And I'll
Mission Impossible.
Hold up.
Mission Impossible just doesn't have a plot. It just doesn't have I don't watch it for the plot. It doesn't have a plot. 90% of Mission Impossible movies, I don't understand what the fuck is happening.
Something completely
I just like,
different.
good or bad. She's like, basically at the end of each scene, do you feel happy or sad at the end of the scene? And then it's like, okay.
You might be 100% right. You might be 100% right. When it comes to these titles, you're 100% wrong. So, so that's Ghost Protocol. Fallout was a two-part meaning. It was the nuclear fallout, the thing that might happen, but it's also the fallout of what happened in the previous film. Right? So it meant two different things. Here, Dead Reckoning is a navigational term. And it means that when you are lost and don't have the stars or some other navigational or some other metric to help you navigate, you do it from just what's around you. Now, I don't know what that means within the context of this movie, but it means something to me, that something about being lost or having to shoot an azimuth somewhere with a compass and just march through the forest to try and get there. I'm getting a north-south from Kyle because based in what if it's like based in sea, or what if they go to space? So Dead Reckoning is
Dead Reckoned in space.
Dead Reckoning works is actually it derives from a nautical term, because the dead was about something that was buoyant but not moving because of the wake, and so it was just dead at sea, just sitting there. So it would use that to navigate to a specific place. So it actually does have application for maritime, but most people that I know, because I'm in the Army, so we're land-based, we all use it to, like, if you're stuck in land nav and you have to figure out where you are and you can kind of see something, you just judge by your steps and something like that. But basically you're kind of lost. That's usually what it means.
I think they should have gone with that for the title. Mission Impossible Kind of Lost, Part 1. That would have been it.
Well, then the sequel is completely lost. We found our way.
If you believe that, Jammer, then you are completely lost.
Then you are lost.
Then you are lost. But yeah, anything. So I don't know. That's how I interpret it. So the title, it keys up a couple of things for me. And I'm hoping that at least on the part one part that it is me interpreting some strategy in terms of expectation management. But Dead Reckoning does mean something to me in terms of whether or not, like, either Ethan Hunt is lost or the IMF is lost or something of that nature. And I'm curious how they will bake that into the actual plot of the film. That's
Kyle, you got something?
Yeah, Jonesy, I don't know if you got Discord up to see what I was sending you, but to your point, Jammer, about space, back in 2020, Cruise did say he did want to shoot a movie out in space, and Nick had wondered if that would be Mission Impossible 7 or 8.
He did mention that I think he's working with Doug Liman on a separate space movie, or it's a movie that I think is shot in 0G somehow. I'm not sure if I recall correctly. So that might be it. But
all right,
I think Mission Impossible will get to space. I'm just disappointed that Fast and Furious got there first.
Whatever. Don't be a whiny little bitch. But anyway, you'll have your revenge.
I was under the impression that it was what was the Tom Cruise film that was really, really good that had the title
Edge of Tomorrow.
Waking Up, the Groundhog Day one.
Edge of Tomorrow.
Edge of Tomorrow.
Isn't that I was thinking that was the one that was going to be partly shot in space, simply because of that fits with that Aliens narrative more than a Mission Impossible does. Not that it's not impossible to go to space with this franchise.
So this is from The Verge back in 2022. The movie coming in 2024. Tom Cruise's upcoming film is said in space. Said it plans to attach the first ever space movie studio and sports arena to the ISS as early as 2024. Space Entertainment Enterprise SEE. Sorry, I'm trying to see if there was actually any movie attached to it. The company, blah, blah, blah.
It does fit with your theory, Jonesy, because a ship in space is the new lost ship, right? I mean, I doubt very much it's going to be set at sea very much, so that could well be The Dead Reckoning could be, okay, focus on Earth. Let's use that as our way to get home. That's our one buoyant object is back on Earth. But yeah, I'm with you on the Dead Reckoning. Just wasn't a fan of part one, but I'm sold on this franchise, to be honest with you. So the title was kind of whatever. I'm gonna watch it, and I'm looking forward to it. It's just a title.
And just to be clear, Jeremy, you know that when they went to space in Fast and Furious, that was not real, right? That didn't actually happen.
I'm just talking about narratively. They went to space.
I mean, lots of movies have gone into space narratively before.
But I'm talking about movies that started off in a grounded way and have evolved into space.
You're just adding in things that you didn't say before.
I'm adding more context to what I was meaning because I didn't feel the need to say that as explicitly because I thought context is everything. And someone like you could actually infer from context, but I guess I was wrong. You're not that smart.
I just don't understand what it means for this franchise to what is Fast and Furious.
It doesn't mean anything, Jonesy. It doesn't mean anything, Jonesy.
Okay. Nothing means anything anymore. I got it.
And we've already established that none of us here on this podcast are ever going to go into fucking space, narratively or
never.
I can do it.
Really.
No, narratively, I could do it. I could do it narratively.
Narratively, I could
going into space. That means nothing.
But you keep drinking like you're drinking. I think you already fucking are there, Jammer, the way you're coming. There you go.
You guys ready to move on to the take a swig?
Yeah, take a swig.
You guys ready to move on to Ghostbusters?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yep.
So we have another announcement from CinemaCon. This is the fact that we are getting another Ghostbusters film following Afterlife's success in the movie theaters. It shouldn't be a surprise, right? And I think it's funny because when we reviewed this film, we had a conversation like, we know they're going to make another one, right? Even though, there are no plans. We don't have any plans to make another one. We knew 100% that they were going to make another one. So what we got was Asuya announced today at CinemaCon in a closing sizzle reel that a fifth film in the series is in the works. No talent attachments were revealed. One, are you surprised? And two, would you like to see more? Jammer?
Am I surprised? No. Would I like to see more? Sure. I enjoyed the last one. I'll watch more of that Amblin-esque take on Ghostbusters. But even if it's not an Amblin-esque take, yeah, whatever. I'll see what the trailer looks like and go from there. But I'm not going to naysay at this point because I haven't seen anything yet, and I'll watch more. Whatever. Okay. I just hope that this next one doesn't shit the bed in the third act like the last one did. The last one, that third act was rough. Great acts 1 and 2, but the third one, Jesus, that which is funny because I feel like a lot of Ghostbusters fans that I've talked to, they like the third act the most. But I just like, I'm not even talking about the part with the Ghostbusters. I'm talking about like the second when Paul Rudd takes off his shirt and then starts like, I forgot, were they kissing hit with the mom? I wasn't sure what they were doing, or they were dancing or doing whatever. It was just like, what happened?
We'll call it gyrating.
This got weird. Yeah. Still fun to watch though. I've seen it a few times. I enjoy it.
Yeah, I agree 100% about the third act. But Danny, what do you think? Were you having a seizure or were you saying no? Were you giving, what were you doing?
Me? No, that's Carl.
Yeah,
Carl shaking. Yep.
No. When Jammer was talking, it looked like you were doing one of these.
No.
I'm
not having a seizure. I'm old, but I'm okay. My health is okay.
So how do you feel?
If I tell you I can smell burnt toast and I do that, then please, then just dial the 999 as it is here.
Would that work? Can I do that?
Yeah.
Hey, there's a guy I know in Dubai.
Yeah. No, I'm not surprised. Yes, I'll watch it. I enjoyed the last one. I'm more surprised by the fact that they said this was the fifth in the franchise. I thought they'd got rid of the other one. I thought that was a film.
Still held the title. Still held the title, I guess.
Fair enough.
So they're going
I mean, with it. Does it though? I feel like that's really interesting. So
it's called Ghostbusters. Yes, it does hold the title.
Well, yes, but that's like saying Fast and Furious, Hobbs and Shaw is the same thing as the other, but it doesn't fall within the same number system.
But it's still.
You get what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying, but I don't think. My point is that I think it still counts as a movie, even if it's not part of the canon.
Yeah. Wow.
It's still a Ghostbusters movie. What do you want to call it? If it's not a Ghostbusters movie,
that's not what I'm saying. I get what you're saying, and I think the way that they worded it is fine. So I'm reading an article that Cam from the website wrote, and he is saying, you know, there's a bit of a debate among fans about several things, but one of the things that they're having a debate about is exactly what we're talking about now. I understand where some people are coming from, but I agree with you. It's a Ghostbusters movie.
But it's an unimportant debate because it doesn't affect what's canon. If they said it's canon, now that's a debate. If they say, the fifth canonical Ghostbusters movie, that's a discussion. But just to say it's the fifth Ghostbusters movie, I mean, it is.
It means nothing because it is. Yeah. I think it is interesting because I feel like it is very heavily implied the fact that Zool exists in both universes, that either it is the same universe or somehow they are connected across some multiverse. So
I think you're taking too much because you think about it, like they're connected because one of them they just took Ghostbusters elements, but they made it as a reboot, whereas the other one was a sequel set in the same universe.
Well, all I'm saying is, regardless of how you slice it, either it is the fifth Ghostbusters movie, just simply because it is, or the canon aspect of it, they seem to, quote unquote, go out of their way to connect the two just in the end tag scene when they're talking about Zool existing in both universes. So I think it's weird to even try to have either debate.
I agree.
Yeah. I'd even forgotten about that tag on with Zool. I was going to say it wasn't even connected until you reminded me about the Zool thing at the end.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's funny because we never actually found out said vision. You guys ready to move on? Is there anything else you have to say about Ghostbusters? Kyle, were you champing at the bit to say anything about Ghostbusters? I know.
Just to on your point about that multiverse thing in the I think it's IDW, not Image. Yeah, IDW comics. Several years ago, they did a multiversal thing, including the answer the call ladies. So,
see, there you go.
I never said it wasn't canonical though. So this isn't a disagreement with you. I'm just saying, like, why are you disagreeing with me all the time?
We're having a heated agreement. We're having a heated agreement. I'm like, hey, there it is. That's the answer. That's the answer to the question. It is both canonical in some form or fashion, and it is in fact the fifth Ghostbusters or
Schrodinger's Ghostbuster.
Fourth Ghostbusters. Third Ghostbusters film. God. Whew.
Are you confusing? You all right there? You just have a seizure? Or
it is the fact that the new one, it's the fact that we're going back in time and talking about 2 movies ago. And then we're also talking about a movie that is yet to actually come out that my brain had to like catch up. Catch up.
Got it.
Anyway, we're going back into space, bitches. Another announcement. Yes, indeed. Another announcement from CinemaCon is the fact that the Hawkeye series director, Rhys Thomas, did I say that correctly, Jammer? Name checker extraordinaire.
I don't know how his name is spelled, so I can't judge you yet.
Rhys.
Rhys. Yeah.
Rhys.
Yeah, like John Rhys Davies.
Or Rhys fans.
Okay.
Have you been calling John Rhys Davies? Have you been calling that?
No, when I became aware of him, I was watching Sliders and they would say his name all the time. So I didn't have to fucking worry about what it was spelled because I was a child.
Well, you can apply your knowledge about how that's spelled.
I never had to look it up. I was a child.
Okay.
Sliders. For all the millennials.
That is
anyway.
Burger.
Rhys Thomas is going to be directing the Robotech series for Sony Pictures. Now, what's interesting about this is that for a long time, Tobey Maguire was trying to get this series off the ground. It is one of those. It's like if you think of if you think about anime that has made it kind of into the American zeitgeist, things that most Americans that are vaguely aware of anime know about. It's Robotech, Macross, Cowboy Bebop, and things like that. So this is
Ghost
one of them. Ghost in the Shell, yeah, it's another great one.
Akira.
Do that? Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I'll sign it. I will co-sign on that one because I think Leonardo DiCaprio was trying to make that one. Basically, anything that Hollywood execs have been sniffing around trying to make a big Hollywood project out of, that's one that's made a crossover. And this is one. This has been one that's been around for a very long time. We don't really have a lot of details on this one. But I am really curious what you guys think, because part of the conversation we were having just in the Discord channel was about whether or not, anime / manga are going to be the next comic book, like superhero movies. If somebody can crack the code of how to make a good one, because at least from where I'm sitting, we haven't really seen that yet from an American production company. And that includes Cowboy Bebop, which I was pretty disappointed in. So
I'm gonna have to say no on that.
What?
I don't think it's gonna happen. I don't think it's the next comic book
really
movie because, well, the thing I think comic movies have, there's a couple of differences. One, the comic book superhero movies are like the main ones you have from two major publishers. You don't have that same interconnected universe in anime and manga. It's all very different, all bifurcated, all from, whereas comic movies, you can basically say like a majority of them or a lot of them are like in the same big overall genre. Yeah, there's a lot of subgenres within it, but they're in the same sort of big genre, or a lot of them are. The mainstream ones are. Whereas anime and manga, all completely different genres. You have sci-fi, you have adventure, you have romance, they're all over the place. Also, you have frankly the difference in cultural storytelling norms as well as visual things that just don't translate well. And we haven't cracked the code on how to translate those yet. I don't know if we ever will, but I mean, maybe if we do, I could see it, but it's never going to be as cohesive, I think, as a movement as the superhero thing is. But I could see there being like, a couple good anime manga movies and then a couple shitty ones. Like, I think it's going to be a lot of hit or miss consistently until the end of time, because that's how they're all so different from each other that you can't really compare.
Sure. And so given what you've seen of Hawkeye, do you think this has the potential to be a good one?
I don't know if Hawkeye is really indicative of the genre, because Hawkeye is a relatively grounded, fun action thing, whereas Macross is kind of this weird space fantasy / sci-fi epic thing. So I would just need to see, I'd be interested in what direction they're going to go with in terms of the story and how crazy and weird they're going to go compared to the source material. So it's weird. I don't know. I don't have enough information at this point.
All right. Well, I'm going to bug you for some information that you do know before I kick it over to Danny. In the setup for the story, I talked about both Macross and Robotech. Now, this is an 80s series that folks, like I said, are generally familiar with. Can you break down the difference between the two?
So Robotech is basically, I guess, the equivalent of Power Rangers in the US, where in Power Rangers, you had a Super Sentai series that they took and then they chopped up, reshot stuff and cut it all together to make its own show. Robotech, I think they literally just took stuff from several different anime series, not all of whom I think were even Macross, and just cut them together into something that is just its own thing. So it's just taking assets and cutting them together into its own story. So it's basically an American property, but it uses Japanese assets.
So, Danny, given that you are not an anime person generally, how familiar are you with this series? And did anything the Jammer said make you want to see this film?
I got, honestly, both those properties I've got no recollection of whatsoever. Coming from the UK, I don't recognize them at all. Honestly, neither of them. I've got nothing, absolutely nothing. Okay. So I defer to you, gentlemen. You guys are the experts on the, well, comparatively speaking to me about anime and manga and stuff, but even these properties you're talking about, I don't know about. So I've got nothing on that. I defer to you, gents.
I'll come at it from this perspective. I remember reading the books when I was a kid and really enjoying them. And when I heard Tobey Maguire was going to be involved, I was really excited. And this is a series I think has a lot of potential. And as we have progressed in years, we haven't really seen much like this make it to the big screen. And so I think one of the things that excites me the most about it is the potential for, so another way of saying it is, we've had conversations about Halo where it felt like Dread or The Mandalorian kind of stole its lunch and did the thing before it could. Not a lot has done what Robotech or Macross did. Transformers tried, but I think that people would be able to distinguish the two very quickly. One of the biggest things being, as Jammer said in his setup, is the fact that one of them takes place in space. And so Transformers doesn't. And so I think you're going to be able to draw a lot of people into that. So Rhys Thomas seems competent. And based on what I saw in Hawkeye, I'm hoping that competence carries over. But the story itself intrigues me, in the fact that we might get something new, not just in terms of a new IP, newish IP on big screen, but something that we haven't seen in America's cinemas. So it's fun to me. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, it seems like I'm excited to see what unique stuff it could bring. Like these Japanese space anime things, they have a very specific feel and look to them. And I'm wondering how it's going to translate over in live action American stuff, because I don't think we've really seen that attempted. The only thing I think we've seen closest was what's it called? Alita, I think, was the closest. But yeah, what's up, Kyle? What we got for you? What you got for us?
Just wanted to ask this question there, Jammer. Do you think if they approach this as a war epic, the way it kind of is presented in the source material, if the West takes it as a war epic, do you think that could be successful?
I guess you can go the Edge of Tomorrow route, kind of, with that, which could work.
Yeah.
That just makes me want Doug Liman to direct this, so it makes me less excited. So that is an approach that it could take. Yeah, I think that could be good. I like how you said war epic, and I went to like goofy sci-fi movie, but I know what you mean. Like you're talking about like legit war epic. Yeah, that could be an approach to take. Admittedly, that's not my favorite genre, and it's the reason why these space operas that come out of anime are not my biggest. I'm not the biggest fan of them, but that's just a personal taste thing.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like my take on that has generally just because Japanese American have very different perspectives on war, right? And so the things that they write about and the perspective that they're drawing from is just different. So that's why some people have a harder time getting into it. I don't know if that's
one of the things I love regarding. No, I mean, for me, they're just really dry a lot of times, and people in uniforms talking and walking around and being boring. But there's. What
do you think the self-defense force does now?
That's a good point. But my point is this. Actually, there's no point. The point that I was going to bring up a whole different topic regarding the difference between war, I guess. What do you mean by the difference between in war, how war is thought of in Japan versus now? What do you say? What would you say are the main differences?
We've never had a nuclear bomb detonate on our soil before. So our perspective to war is very different than how they see it. You even see it in other movies that get made. So we talked about Pearl Harbor, right? And how it was marketed in the US versus here. In the US, we focused on the war aspect of it and pushed the action elements of it. Japan, unsurprisingly, they played up the romance aspect of it. And so the people who watched it in those different theaters, and when I said theaters, I meant war theaters.
Countries?
No, well, yeah. So Pacific Theater versus here, those folks had they got a different film than maybe what they thought they were expecting. The same is true here. Like even you mentioned Akira, like that has everything to do with nuclear weapons. The same is true of Ghost in the Shell, right? So the long scenes that you're getting of Tokyo as it's been rebuilt after a war, and they have these conversations about that kind of stuff. Like, so their perspective and the way that they think about these things is just different than Americans. And so, and even the way their military exists, they aren't an expeditionary force the same way that the United States is. We are in lots of countries, whether you think we should or shouldn't be, they are mostly confined to home. That's why it's all that talky bullshit that you might not be into. And when you do see them doing something, they're in Gundams or in like some other type of yes. So they're in some exosuit doing something out in space. It's so far removed from what reality is.
I mean, have either of you seen Irresponsible Captain Tyler?
Mm-mm. No,
Kyle?
I'm not.
He'd be the only person. No, I'll let you finish, Kyle, before I make my point.
Sorry, I was just going to bring up, in addition to what Jonesy's saying about other war-related things, almost every Gundam series, and Miyazaki's films, lots of them are all commentary on war. And part of it is because of longevity in Japan. You still have a lot of people that were in the industry well into the 90s that, were survivors of that time frame. And then even the kids that are the adults now that are a little bit younger than that, they're the first generation after those events. So those stories do get told very, very differently, and it's great. It's not for everyone, but it's good. I like it. Anyways, that's it.
Yeah. So my point isn't really a point, but it's just a series that I thought had a really cool climax. Irresponsible Captain Tyler. And I forget the context of it, but essentially there are two giant fleets heading towards each other, very in slow motion, and they had some classical piece of music playing, and it was basically like this game of chicken of who was going to shoot first. And it's like a comedy series. It's really goofy and silly, but essentially it like had a really serious sort of climax to it. I thought it was cool, where they were slowly approaching, kind of waiting on each other, and then neither side attacks, and they just slowly pass through each other. And it was just sort of like essentially like a peaceful sort of resolution. I thought that was a really cool scene. I want to watch it again. Unreally related, but
where could someone watch it?
I don't know. I don't know where you could find that show. Hold on, I could Google it. Chill out, calm down. I'm here for you. Irresponsible Captain Tyler. You could currently watch it nowhere that I can find.
You're fucking useless. You're so useless. Moving on.
You can hold on.
What?
You can find it. It's loading. You can find it.
You got a vamp
if you go to the place where they sell things, and I just want to make sure it's actually. Oh, it's in stock. Okay, cool. You can find it at rightstuffanime.com on Blu-ray. You can't find it streaming, so it's on sale for $37.49, which is actually interesting because I think I bought it for much less about 15 years ago. So
how many episodes?
26 or 20 something. It's a full old school series.
Anyway,
in terms of the number of episodes.
Sure. You ready to move on from something that'll be less depressing than spending that much money on an anime?
It's not that depressing.
Sure.
Wait,
Batman 2 has been announced. The Batman 2 has been announced.
Okay.
Batman 2. Batman has been announced. It's coming back. Bat-Pat, Matt Reeves, as well as Zoe Kravitz. All of them are coming back. Which is great, right? This has been a very successful film for Warner Brothers. The viewership of the film, once it hit HBO Max, actually topped that of all of their day and date viewership for all the things that they were releasing during COVID. So like Wonder Woman and The Matrix and Suicide Squad. So this topped out at $4.1 million, 4.1 million viewers, households in the first week that it came out, which is higher than, like I said, all of those other films. It's fascinating. So it's doing really well for them. And no date on that yet for when that film is going to be coming out. We've had discussions about some of the things that Matt Reeves said he might want to do. And I'm curious, now that we know that this is going to happen, is there anything that you all definitely would like to see now going forward? Keep in mind that we've still got the Penguin series is coming out with Colin Farrell, and we've also have, I guess, the one that evolved into the Arkham series. So yeah,
what do you guys? The Gotham PD series is no longer happening.
Yeah, it's something else now. It evolved into like the Arkham show that they were going to do. What do you guys want from a sequel to this film now that you've seen this movie?
we talked a lot of bit about, like, if you want to hear about like real specifics, I know we dug deep into what our specific ideas were for a Batman sequel, what sort of villains we want to see. So off the top of my head, I honestly wasn't prepared mentally to have to think about what I want to see, because I'm trying to think about something that's in line with the style and tone that was established in this one, but different enough to where it's not like we're getting the same thing over and over again. And my vamping has failed because I still don't have an idea. But what about you, Jonesy? What would you like to see?
I would like to see what their take on the Waynes is. It seems like we've gotten a different one, certainly than we have seen on screen. One that seems more similar to the Telltale Batman series that we got, where they, as opposed to being the almost saintly figures that has permeated every other iteration of Batman, they are extremely flawed. And so I'm hoping
not as flawed as Joker.
The movie, or
not as flawed as they were as Thomas Wayne was in Joker. He was a dick.
Oh yeah, he was an asshole.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it depends. We'll see.
It depends on if it was real, right? I guess. Yeah, it could have been his perspective.
Yes. And then the other part of it is in the works that I'm referring to, like he seemed like he was more willing to go along with some of those nefarious folks. So I'm hoping that we get some, it doesn't have to be a resolution, but expansion of that idea. And then I'm kind of interested in that and see if it leads into the Court of Owls.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Danny? Sir Daniel Bartlett?
I'm just happy that we're getting another film out of them after all the rumors and talk of fallout on set and stuff. I'm super happy about that. The deleted, or not the deleted scene, the hidden scene that came out a few weeks after the film was on the big screen with the Joker and stuff. I kind of liken the idea of him being the Hannibal Lecter of this show, where Batman goes and gets the Joker's opinion on the nutcases that are running around Gotham. And that could tie nicely in with what you were just talking about, Jonesy, about the Waynes. I'd like to see more of them. And maybe there's another character that is the bad guy, the main foil in this one, but he still goes and contacts the Joker, because I don't want another Joker. I don't want it Joker heavy. I don't want another Batman versus Joker, but I like the fact that Joker, or what we think is him, in locked up already. He goes and visits him, gets his perspective, picks his brain, etc., etc. I kind of like that kind of idea. So other than that, I've got nothing on this. I'm just super happy to have another film with these guys involved. I think he is definitely my favorite Batman out of all the ones we just took for.
Love how you threw that. Love how you ended with a hot take.
Do you like buried it like THR buries really gems in the articles randomly?
Not my favorite Wayne, but I don't think we got a lot of Bruce Wayne in this, the most recent Batman, the Batman. But I loved the Batman. I thought it was his Batman. Sorry, I thought it was great. Actually, a detective, not superhuman. Although he did seem to be managed to survive a very nasty fall and stuff without actually breaking anything. But I'm going to put that.
He was basically superhuman.
Yeah, that one. But no, yep, that's what I got for that one. I'm just happy we're going to get another one sooner rather than later, I hope.
So, Jammer, two other hosts have gone before you. You've done a lot of vamping. Are you ready to answer this question yet?
Oh, God, no. I mean, I gave up on answering that question, but I just thought it was funny going back to... You guys remember the rumors that they had back in the day where it's just like Matt Reeves was frustrated with Robert Pattinson because Robert Pattinson wasn't getting in Batman shape for the movie and that they weren't like doing well on set. And then those were really random rumors where they talked about how Robert Pattinson and Zoe Kravitz were caught having sex on the Batmobile and stuff. And it was just like weird, really weird stuff. But yeah, it's all bullshit. So
is it though? You know what's funny? You know what's funny though? I see a world where all of those things could be true.
Yeah,
but I don't think
and it didn't bother me one little bit. Two people having sex two consenting adults having sex on a car.
It's a bit weird.
So?
It's a bit weird. It's a bit
it's
weird.
Not weird.
I would not be shocked if it happened.
I mean, I wouldn't be shocked. It's a bit weird though. It's like,
not weird.
Come on.
It's not weird. If I was
Keep it in your pants.
Why? If I was on the set of the Batman, a place where I was actually supposed to be, even if I wasn't authorized to be there, I was like, hey, there's the Batmobile. You want to? Yes, absolutely.
Have sex on it.
Yes,
I would.
You couldn't stop me.
Yeah.
All
Speaking
right.
of my pants, I would walk to that thing one pants down, like the jingle jangle. Yeah.
You're just walking up to the Batmobile. She's like, "What are you doing? You're like a toddler with your pants down at your ankles."
You can hear my belt jingling. Yeah.
At a urinal.
Yeah.
Hey, we're doing the thing.
If there happens to be a good-looking person that you'd like to do this with, which in this case there probably was for both,
who also wants to do it with you.
Yeah, that's like that last part is key. Who also wants to do it with you? That's the key part there, Danny.
Listen, I can't hang out with somebody that doesn't want to have sex on the Batmobile. Like that would be the end of the relationship.
Yeah.
I'm just sorry. I'm sorry.
I just imagine he's on a first date with somebody. He's like, "The Batmobile. You want to? Do you want it?" And she's like, "No." You're like, "Okay, well, it's over."
All right,
we're done.
Get an Uber, baby.
That is third date material. Third date material is sex in the Batmobile, Jonesy. Come on.
If you can't recognize,
not even in the Batmobile, on the Batmobile, it's not even comfortable. It's just a story. It's just a story. I'm talking about the benefits of having sex on the Batmobile. It's not comfortable. It's just a story.
Yeah, that's a story to tell. Like having sex in an airplane bathroom is not comfortable, but you do it to say you're in the Mile High Club. Like that's how that works.
I'm gonna have to, Jonesy. Have you had sex on an airplane before?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh,
I don't know what you're talking about.
Here. Why does Jammer sound like such an old prude? Missionary tonight, sweetheart? Yes.
No, I just think it's not comfortable.
Let's spice it up. Let's leave the lights.
I just told you. Listen, you're not revealing anything special. I just told you it's not comfortable.
Have you been in an airplane bathroom? Those things are tiny. Those things are like my size.
They are.
That's why it's not comfortable.
What are you talking about? Yeah, that's why I've never done it.
Okay, whatever.
You have a flexible partner and the will. It can happen.
Yeah, I have nothing against, a happy, sexual relationship and all that. I just, if it's not comfortable sex, it's not worth having. That's the way I see it.
It is for the story. That's the point. It's the story. It's about the story.
Nah.
It's like, it's almost like childbirth. It's like childbirth, right? Like you kind of forget the pain of childbirth. Because you're like, oh, this thing is so fun and amazing. Like, I get to tell stories about this child.
Says the guy who's never gone through childbirth.
I watched it, though. It was horrific. I could feel the pain.
Yeah, I know. Mm-hmm.
I'm just interested right now to see what Kyle, the producer's putting up on the little magic imageries and stuff right now as we're talking about this. What the fuck is he find? What's he Googling to find right now?
It's probably just car windows fogging up.
Just like that shot from Titanic. With like the glass.
Two people dressed as Batman and Wonder Woman in an airplane toilet. Google that shit.
Draw me like one of your psychopaths, Bruce. All right. You guys ready to move on?
I guess we just discovered what Jammer wants to see in the next Batman film.
I want to see him have sex on the Batmobile, apparently.
Apparently so. I think you do.
I think I do too. Let's see it. You hear that, Pattinson?
So this isn't really like a story. This is a thing that just came out. I wanted to have not even the briefest of conversations with you guys about it. Apparently, they came out and gave an explanation for why Darkseid forgot where
thank God.
What?
I'm saying, thank God we have this clarification.
Oh, yeah, we needed this. So Darkseid actor Ray Porter addressed the reason why he forgot where the anti-life equation was, the fact that it was on Earth. It was so long ago that he found the equation that he always wanted to re-find it. He forgot where it was.
I don't think it's nearly as stupid as it sounds, because I'm trying to think about, I'm thinking about like 10 or 15 years ago, I've seen things and I'm like, what is that thing? What is that movie that I saw where this thing happened?
But the thing that happened in the movie wasn't the thing you were looking for your entire fucking life. That's the difference.
I mean, that's not true. I've actually been looking for an anime series since 2001.
The most important thing in your life.
Find it.
The most important thing in your life.
Okay, it's clearly it's not the most important thing in my life, but all right, whatever. I got nothing.
I find it to be ridiculous. So let's think about it this way. how does he get to Earth? Does he fly there? Does he fly in a ship or does he teleport? How does he get to Earth or any planet? Anybody know?
They came in a ship.
I got no idea.
Because we saw it in the flashback. They were in a ship.
Okay, so you're telling me that there's no memory in that ship? They didn't put like a calendar date in there. It's not a thing that he has. Okay, it's the exact same conversation we were having with Nick about the fucking dentist, right? Where it's like you literally have a supercomputer that went billions of years and light years across the galaxies, and you just couldn't look to see where you put. Like I can do that in my car right now.
But here's the difference.
And it will show me all the places that I've been.
All right, but here's the thing: the ship isn't his car. So here's what you need to understand. This is according to Zack Snyder back in 2021. He says he almost died when he returned to Apocalypse. He was in a fight for power, and much time passed before he was in a position of power again. And then all who had been with him had been slayed. So think about it this way, okay? It's like if you were like, I don't know military ranks. If you were not a leader fighting in a battle and you came in on a ship, you almost died, you came back a decade later. You find like, oh, I could find out where this thing is again. You have no idea where that fucking ship is that you came in on. It's been, reissued, circulated, whatever. You're not going to be able to find that piece
Everything
of
you're
equipment.
saying is ass backwards wrong.
All right, why?
Well, first of all, ships have names, right?
Okay.
So that's one perspective. So you're saying that
it got taken over and chopped up at a chop shop, and now
you're saying that this wasn't
around.
His ship. You're saying this wasn't his ship.
It was the ship that he was in. It wasn't his ship.
I'm not buying what you're selling.
All right, whatever, man. I really don't care. I don't have a dog in this race. I'm just saying, it's not out of the realm of possibility, even if it is a stretch.
It is terrible writing. That's what it is. It's okay. It's okay. Just call it that. You know what? You can just say you fucked up. It's okay. It's all right. It's okay.
Is it though?
Sure it is.
It is. People would be bitching just as much if he said I fucked up. Maybe more. Probably more.
You think
so? Yeah,
so?
you'd be saying, or people would be like, oh, he doesn't deserve to do anything because he even forgot his own thing.
I would tell you how refreshing that shit was. Because you know who else has done that? This is probably going to be a bad example. As it like J.K. Rowling has done that. So this is a bad example.
I can tell you that right now.
I said it for you. But here's what happened. People would come up to her and be like, why didn't Harry or Hermione do that thing they did in 2 or 3 books ago? And she's like, you know what? I honestly forgot that they could do that. And I was like, thank you. You know when the last time I talked about that was the last time she said it.
What? Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. I haven't brought it up. I haven't complained about it. The last time I even thought about it or referenced it was the time that it initially happened. It's okay. It's all right.
All right. Whatever, man.
Danny, do you care about any of this? Oh, I do, baby.
Actually, I don't care about it either. Not gonna lie, I don't care.
Anyway.
Just like I don't care how stupid it was that, Spider-Man brought home all those villains when he could have just left them in their cells and done stuff remotely. Because when you have a fun story, those little things don't really matter.
I agree. Yeah. So,
are we having another heated agreement?
Another heated agreement?
No.
I think we are having a heated agreement.
No, because initially you tried to say, I could see why. Because you started talking about this anime you saw this one time, and you were talking about this ship that may or may not have been mine or his or no. But maybe we've come to
the anime that I'm talking about. I remember seeing it. It was a part of the preview trailers for a Dragon Ball GT video CD from Japan.
Yes, I know. You've told me this story before.
I'm not just talking to you. There are other people here, as you could tell. And so it has it had a song that was playing during the trailer, and the imagery that I recall are people being impaled by giant, like flagpole type things through the chest and into the ground, from the back into the ground, and they have like dead eyes. So I don't know what anime that is, and I need to find it someday. And I even went to Reddit, the tip of my tongue Reddit failed. Failed.
Maybe one day. Maybe one day. Now that we have a Discord channel, maybe you could posit the question there and maybe somebody knows. How about that?
It's a good point. I'll give it a shot.
You should try it. You should try it. People that actually like you there. Reddit is like, they might not actually like you. At least it seems like on Discord, people like you. I don't know. I'm just making that up. I don't know if anybody likes you. You guys ready to move on to the big story?
I'm ready.
All right. Fasten your seatbelts. Looks like Fast 10 has lost its director. Actually, doesn't look like anything. This shit has happened. Justin Lin, who has directed 5 of the 9, I guess 10. How would you say that? 10 existing films, is out. He issued a statement earlier this week where he said that, unfortunately, he can't be part of this film anymore. He left with the consent and understanding of Universal. And the crazy thing about this is it's going to cost Universal somewhere between $600,000 and $1 million a day that he is absent. So,
God damn, that's so much money.
That is a lot of money. The last thing in this story is the fact that he is going to remain on as producer. I actually had a question about that for you, Jammer, because this is something that I've never had an opportunity to look up and I keep forgetting. When it comes to, I guess, points or some system as it relates to directors versus producers, like a producers guild or a directors guild, is there a reason why someone would leave a director and stay on as producer? Does that have anything to do with that?
You mean as far as like the guild
rules,
requirements? Yeah, probably, but I can't say I know enough about the rules at this point to really say something intelligently. But that would make sense if, he's been involved, he's put this amount of resources and time into it, into what's going to be the finished product. Therefore, he'll stay on as a producer. I mean, maybe he'll still be involved. Maybe he'll help find someone to replace him for all we know. I don't know what he's going to do, but that's a valid assumption. But I can't confirm or deny it because I don't have enough information.
Okay. The other little bit of information, it's not even information. There's a video that someone posted from Vin Diesel's Instagram where he's having a conversation. He's doing a selfie cam with Justin Lin. And I got to tell you, Justin Lin looks like somebody that's being held hostage.
Yes, he does.
And that's what the person who posted the video said. Yeah,
Here, I'm going to play the audio. You ready? Here we go.
You're going to play the audio?
What do you think, Justin? Week 1. Just finished week 1. How does it feel? Feels like the beginning of an epic ending. Is it fair to say that this will be the best one? My heart, yes.
What does that mean?
What do you think, Justin? Week 1. Just finished week 1.
Yeah, he just says, "Oh my God, I hate
it
this
sounds
guy."
so forced. He sounds like he's being told to say these things. It's like, I almost want to say at the end, can I go now, Vin? Can I go back to work now?
I want to see how many times he's blinking to see if there's Morse code in there. Help me or something like that. That's how bad it is. And
it's bad.
I know, Jammer, you said you need more information. I'm going to jump in on this one first, just with unbridled speculation. It's definitely Vin Diesel, 100%.
Yeah, right? It seems like it. Yeah. We've already had one major cast member leave because of him, so it's easy to point to him. And he's always super weird and awkward on his Instagram updates, like, "Oh, this is the best thing ever, right, guys?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure,
yeah, Ben, you're paying for this, right?"
Yeah.
So, I think it is hard in light of what you brought up, right? So one of the things that The Rock would talk about is the fact that he thought that, I think he called him a candy ass diva or words to that effect a couple of years ago.
Yeah,
and
basically a diva.
Yeah. And for me, it's incredibly disappointing. And I like what Vin Diesel has contributed to the series. I like that. I even like the fact that one of the quote unquote fights that he had for this film in particular was bringing Jordana Brewster back, because apparently she wasn't in the first draft of this film.
The 10th one.
Yeah. So
which is weird considering how prominent she was in the last one.
And the fact that Michelle Rodriguez was like, "I am quitting if she doesn't come back."
Yeah,
And
that was
so-
after Fast 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was a big deal. And I'm kind of surprised that they thought that they could write a script without her, given all of the hoo-ha that happened. And so I'm glad he stuck up for her in that respect. That said, I am fairly certain, based on other things that we have heard, that this is a lot about him and his ego. On the plus side, Justin Lin did direct my favorite Star Trek film of the new Star Trek film. So maybe that means he's available to do Star Trek 4 that got announced a couple of months ago. But I'm very disappointed because he has directed the best of the Fast and Furious films. And I think that James Wan probably did the second best, but that's only because he did what
That had
he
the emotional
could.
weight.
Well, and he also did what he could with what he had, shooting around the fact that Paul Walker wasn't there and things like, I respect that. And I think that was very impressive. But what sucks is all those people who have been involved with this series before as directors are out. Everyone has some other scheduling conflict, unless you're Cohen, who apparently has some sort of sexual allegations against him.
Thinking about going back to the original two directors, John Singleton and Robert Cohen.
Well, I'm just saying, like, anybody that has been associated with this franchise is either busy or accused of sex assault. Right. So,
John Singleton died. I forgot.
Yeah, he's busy in heaven.
Oh,
so you should feel like a jerk for that.
I do.
Good. Moving on. So yeah, and James Wan is just doing Aquaman right now. He's in post-production on that. So there's nobody else that could take this over quickly. And so again, the fact that Universal is like, yes, go ahead and leave, tells me that they quote unquote understand why he's leaving. And I find it to be fascinating, but I'm going to let you guys.
I mean, here's
jump
the
in.
thing for me that's interesting about this is that what kind of director? What the hell was that? What kind of director Stewie. Do you bring on for this? You almost don't bring in seasoned talent. You bring in someone who could basically be a puppet for Vin Diesel, right? I mean, is that crazy to assume?
How come Vin Diesel himself is not just?
I don't think he can. So this is part of my.
He doesn't have the chops, or he can't because of.
No, hell no.
I think that there is something about guild rules that stops him from doing it.
Right.
That would be my guess.
Well, what would you do? What would you do if the Russo brothers came in and did this movie, Fast 10?
If they came in and did it or offered to do it?
Did it?
Because
what's the difference?
Well, because to the point that you guys were just making about being a puppet for Vin Diesel.
Well, I'm saying they wouldn't be. He obviously wouldn't. They obviously wouldn't be a puppet for Vin Diesel at that point. They would just have to override him. There's two of them, so they could definitely do it.
I don't know. Have you seen his arms? He looks pretty jacked again.
Does he? I mean, I'm sure he does, but like, you can't fist fight your way through Hollywood. Come on.
I don't know. Ask Will Smith.
Not anymore. Not anymore.
What would I do if the Russo? I'd be super excited if the Russo brothers came in and did this.
But would it actually be enough time for them to do anything other than just execute?
No.
Well, they'd certainly want to get involved with the script a bit more, wouldn't they? And that would take time.
Yeah,
they would.
$1 million a day.
They literally just need someone to come in and just basically be a TV director.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think. I don't know who they can get. Any thoughts as to who that can be from any of you?
Duffer Brothers. Duffers.
You think so? The Duffer Brothers. Interesting.
Who would I actually want to direct this movie? I don't know who's available. Can anybody?
Don't worry about who's available. Just
you want to?
Yeah, this isn't real. I guess it's funny. In my head,
sorry, John,
this isn't a real scenario. I was like, this isn't a real scenario. Don't take it seriously. But
no,
great.
This is real.
This is real. Like we're in a situation where we have to do it. So you're given this comes across your desk. You're somebody who works at Universal, and they're like, Danny, we got fucked today, and you're like, oh no, what's going on? And then they're like, hey,
Was
we
it on
lost
the Batmobile?
we lost Justin Lin. And you'd be like, all right, mate, I'll get back on it. I'll get right on it. I'll give you a director tomorrow, ASAP. Here we go. Cheerio. Who do you bring?
But who would I want? I don't know, but someone like maybe someone with action direction chops. Maybe someone like John McTiernan, maybe. He's experienced enough to jump onto a ship that's already rolling.
I don't think he is.
I don't know. Don't think he's dead.
Is he dead? Is he dead? Okay.
Yep. Don't want to step in that trap again, do you, Jammer?
So yeah, I would look for someone that has experience with not necessarily rescuing faltering ships, so to speak, but someone that's been around the blocks that can step on board. It's not his first rodeo. He or she is going to be very much in calm control, but can do action. Because let's face it, these films are action heavy, right? So I can't think of any other people other than that. I mean, you got who was
I have two suggestions.
Who was the film we just watched recently with Jake Gyllenhaal?
Michael Bay.
Jake Gyllenhaal.
That's it, Michael Bay. That kind of nonsense. He could do it. I mean, they're already shit anyway, so adding into it would make any difference. But someone
I want the directors from Bad Boys 3.
They're busy though.
Who was that?
I know. Well, so that was my fucking question.
I told you better.
Oh, God damn you. So Michael Bay then.
Ew. Okay.
So yeah, I mean, so what you were saying? So they can't do it because they're doing the Back Row movie. But if you're talking about someone that can execute something that is like this, I think that Bad Boys is pretty close. At least that third one was.
So I don't know.
What about the Wachowskis? Are the Wachowskis busy at the moment?
Fuck you.
Like all of a sudden you see Vin Diesel going, whoa, to everybody. Everybody gets pushed away.
Oh, God damn it.
Anyway, so I'm thinking. I have two
I'm
ideas. Leaving. One of them is based on somebody they just need to come in and execute, come in under really serious deadlines. Though I don't know if he actually has any obligations to Lucasfilm at this point. And I'm talking about Robert Rodriguez. I think he can come in and execute as needed. The other one who I think could be good, Martin Campbell, but I don't know currently what he's doing. But I think that's a good job.
So your rationale for being able to bring them in is that
I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, you don't know what they're doing.
Exactly. Well, I mean, it's better than we know your guys are busy. We don't know what my guys are up to.
Fine.
Danny, any other thoughts about?
No, I just said Sylvester Stallone. I don't know what he's doing at the moment.
Oh, okay. That'd be
someone that would stand up to Vin Diesel.
Is he doing Expendables 3? Is he directing?
4.
Yeah, he's either 4? In it or directing it. Yeah.
Fact. So probably not him. So you're sure that's all right. Uwe Boll. Yeah, that could be great. That'd be fantastic. But no, it's the Expendables 4, not directed by Stallone. So maybe he could hop out on his non-shooting days and head over to the Universal lot and take on Fast 10. I don't know. I do you guys think at the end of the day, though, let's say in a week or two, when it's announced who's going to be the director, do you think it's going to be someone we recognize on a scale of yay or nay? No, you don't think so, Jonesy?
I think it'll be like some second unit director, something like somebody that has either worked on this franchise.
David Leitch.
Yeah. Maybe that'd be
Chad Stahelski.
So those could be good, but I assume that they're busy, right? One of them is doing John Wick 4. Somebody's working on John.
Are they done with John Wick 4?
I don't think they're done with it. They're probably in post-production right now. It'd be the same rationale why James Wan couldn't come back.
Right. Well, also James Wan would be like, fuck that. I've done one movie and that was like the worst experience of my life.
Was it? Did he say that?
Oh, I know. At the time, he was just like, oh my God. It was I know it was the most difficult thing he's ever done in his life. For sure at the time.
Okay.
I'm assuming that
I'm
means
just- I'm
bad because it doesn't sound like it was just like, oh, it was a great challenge, but I overcame it. It was more just like, fuck, we were dealing with some
Fuck that.
shit. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Danny.
I don't know. I'm just pinging off action directors. Simon West did Con Air, Jan de Bont, Speed and Speed 2, Tomb
Are you
Raider.
looking at why are you looking exclusively at 90s movies? What's this?
Well, because they've done fuck all since and would be nice puppets for Vin Diesel.
Oh, right. Okay. That's funny.
Wow. This guy.
All right, well, I think we're ready to
I'm not
move
a
on
fan
to
of
the
this
next
stuff.
stage
I
of the
really don't
process.
fucking care who directs it. It's going to be shit.
Wow. This
Sorry,
guy.
Jonesy. Sorry, buddy. I just don't like
so
this film.
I got one
Go
before we move on.
I'm ready.
Cary Fukunaga,
Oh,
He just finished something recently, right?
James Bond.
Was it James Bond? Okay.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
Time
he'd
to
be
Die.
good. He'd be good.
So not necessarily going to be pushed around by Vin Diesel. Has directed action before. Has directed big movies before. And did True Detective. So he comes from that realm that you're talking about, being able to execute on a TV scale. So he can do both.
Yeah.
All right. I dig it.
We solved
we
it.
threw out about 10 options out there. So when it's one of those 10, you know where you heard it first. BGRtP. And when it's not, well, we can't always be fucking right, can we?
That's So stop your complaining.
Yeah, stop your bitching. We're never going to space. Stop trying to go.
We got some details about America Chavez's backstory, and this is going to be coming ahead of Multiverse of Madness, Doctor Strange 2, in other words. So the backstory that we got is in the MCU, America Chavez is a young girl from outside our multiverse, specifically the utopian parallel, a singular dimension unlike anything we've known. America is being hunted for her power, the ability to open star-shaped holes in reality, allowing her to travel through the multiverse and into other realities. America opened her first portal as a child and spent years traveling the multiverse since she fell into a universe that bears a resemblance to our own. During her accidental travel, she traveled to 72 universes on a journey to find control over her powers. So that's kind of the backstory that we're going to get, and that is the backstory that we're getting for America Chavez, who we will see next week.
Does that line up with her origins in the comics?
Don't remember.
It does? Yeah, I never read.
Getting a north-south from Kyle, so yes.
Cool. Sounds fun.
Sounds exciting. I'm curious, like, you can't call something a utopian parallel and not show it to us. I want to see that. So since we're going to be hopping around from multiverse to multiverse, I want to see what that looks like.
I dig it. It seems fun.
Yeah.
It's a pretty ambitious thing to incorporate into a movie that's already fairly ambitious. Like, that's just, but I guess it's called the Multiverse of Madness. So there's going to be some multiversal madness in there. So but I want to see the utopia, whatever the fuck you said. That sounds cool.
You know what I love? I love that this comes back to sliders. Goes full circle.
I'm hungry.
Because I bet you can't go home again.
Where White Castle at?
Hashtag sliders reboot immediately.
I'd be down for that. I enjoyed that show. Although the premise seems kind of quaint now. They're rebooting Quantum Leap. So why not sliders? Why not?
I can't. I watched parts of an episode that Kirsten watches. She loves that show.
Quantum Leap?
I'll never understand it. No, sliders.
What does it understand?
It's not my cup of tea.
Einstein-Rosenberg Bridge, baby. Jump the thing. Go. Different universe.
Totally.
Anyway, totally. Danny, do you care about any of this? What do you think about America Chavez's backstory? Excited?
I'm happy they just gave me a backstory because I knew nothing about America Chavez. So
I'm actually disappointed you read that to me because I would have been able to experience that, impulsively next week when I see the movie.
Well, I wasn't reading it just to you, Jammer. I was reading to the people listening and watching.
No, I get it, but I'm just disappointed that I was hearing it. That I had to be collateral. I'm Jamie Foxx.
Next time I'll say earmuffs,
Cruise.
baby. Earmuffs.
Spoiler alert, Jammer.
Spoiler for a thing that they've been putting out in marketing. Sorry. My bad, yeah. We've got a bit of Star Wars news. We see that there's the possibility that Qui-Gon Jinn is going to be coming back. So there have been rumors. It's been rumored. Cam, again, from the website, has speculated. And now we've got a quote from Deborah Chow when she's talking about just kind of the premise of the show. I don't know what the question was that prompted this response, but she said, Obi-Wan is going on a journey. There's going to be some different people that come into his life. One of the things I was trying to do with this series was to have a legacy and who is important to Obi-Wan's life and to also have some new characters. So it's going to be a mixture of the two, but I think there are some surprises to come, I hope.
Confirmation, Dexter Jester's coming back.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Mephisto confirmed.
Mephisto confirmed, no. Wow.
There was something else that
what do you know?
Said. There was a quote that she talked about the prequels as well. She said ours is obviously very connected to the prequels, this series, which I think is also interesting and kind of telling. And Siri wants to have a conversation with me. Go away. I'm intrigued by the quote because if you put the two together, where she's talking about who's important to his life and then how it's very connected to the prequels, that opens the door kind of wide open. But it also gets your mind in a very specific frame of who they could possibly be talking about. Do you think that we're going to get like a Mark Hamill style surprise? Not saying Mark Hamill, but like just like so locked down, we don't see it coming. We have no idea who it's going to be. So we've got Liam Neeson rumored. Like hell, could it be Sam Jackson? Who are we going to get that we didn't see coming?
Either of those I would be happy with, and either of those are a strong possibility. I think Qui-Gon's more likely, but Sam Jackson, I mean, even when I saw the film, even when that happened the first time, even when he went out that window, I was like, well, we've seen Jedi fall from great heights before and be absolutely fine all through up to that scene. So I was never convinced that he was necessarily dead and gone. That would be a bigger shock, but I think more likely we'll get Qui-Gon.
Yeah. I think it'll be interesting because we still have to, I don't know if we have to get resolution. We don't have to get resolution on it. I feel like they're going to get resolution on that statement from the same movie from Revenge of the Sith, where Yoda is talking to him about communing with the dead. And so I think because she talked about being very connected to the prequels, I think that that's going to be the linkage, that line specifically.
Sure. And all the stuff that happened in Clone Wars and Rebels. All of that is very linked with being able to link with the past as Jedi and speak to older Jedi, dead and gone Jedi. And all that's been a theme from Clone Wars all the way through Rebels. And it would certainly link nicely with Obi-Wan as well. It would follow canon, for want of a better word, and follow suit. And I definitely think that's where we'll go.
Okay. Jammer.
Yeah. I think what you mentioned about that line from Revenge of the Sith, where he talks about communing with the dead, and it's like Qui-Gon, but then we never saw anything about that. I still don't understand it. I don't get it. I don't know what he's talking about, but I'm like, all right, we'll see. Yeah, if that would make perfect sense to be able to see him as a Force ghost, because we haven't had that in the movies. I don't know if it's been happening in the animated series, but I can't get through the animated series, so I'll never know. Personally.
Well, he has, his voice has appeared in Rebels. Was it Jammer? Jonesy in Rebels? Well, Qui-Gon was in Rebels, never as a Force ghost visually, but he was a voice in, I forget his name's head, Jonesy. Who's the main Jedi Master in Rebels?
Not Cade.
Shoot. Yeah, I think you're right. Kane,
yeah. Kane, that's it.
Yeah. So he has communed with Qui-Gon. So he's there. It's canon already. We've just never seen him as a Force ghost. At least I don't think we did.
But anyways, answer to your question earlier, you were talking about like, are we going to get that level? I think Star Wars has proven that the lifeblood of the series are surprise reveals. Yeah. Otherwise, fans throw up a bitch storm and lose their goddamn shit over it. And they like, if there hasn't been several things directly paralleling or directly pulling from what came before, they lose their goddamn minds. So there has to be something. that does that. I think Sam Jackson also could be a great one, though I'm curious how they would handle that. I mean, Sam Jackson, no spring chicken at this point, but I guess he did fall, and that was years ago. So I guess it lines up relatively well. I think, yeah, that could be a good one. But what do you think the possibility is that it's neither of those two, and it's someone we can't even fathom? Could there be anyone that big that we can think of? Or somebody from the Clone Wars that we haven't even thought about. That is a big deal to some people, but not me, because I don't care about the Clone Wars.
I'm trying to think of the years. The problem is the years in my brain trying to figure out who lines up. I think we will. So the problem is we could not get a live action Kanan because I feel like we would have heard that casting already.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know.
Oh, we're getting a finger from Kyle.
What?
Not the middle finger.
No, just what do you guys potentially think of the not Force Unleashed Jedi Fallen Order guy? He's been a fan favorite rumored cameo, not like substantiated.
Oh, what's his name again?
Cal something.
Cal Kestis.
There it is. All right, discuss.
I think it'd be fun. We've already seen his robot before, and so that's the thing. Did they refute that was actually not BB-8? What's the name of his droid? Crap.
BBC.
No.
PBS.
Damn, I cannot think of the name of his droid. But that was the first time we'd ever seen a droid like that, and then we saw this. Thank you, BD1. Damn, buddy. That was the first time we'd ever seen a droid that looked like that. And then we see the exact same one, or one that looks exactly like it in The Mandalorian. So the only reason I would say no is because they talked about being tied to the prequels. So that's the direction that I think that they're going.
So Dexter
doesn't mean that they couldn't.
Confirmed.
Yeah, it doesn't mean that they couldn't do anything else. I think that would be a fun 1-2 punch. So
yeah.
But if they did do that, he'd have to be much younger. I think. Pretty sure he'd have to be younger. So I don't know. But we'll see. We'll find out soon.
Do we even have time to watch Who Watches at this point? And you got a hard out. And for some reason, me saying what?
Who do we have time to who do the watches with the who to woo?
To do a Who Watches.
So we were going to do a Who Watches. It's up to you guys. I know we can
you
do it
gotta
for a
get
couple
going.
minutes. I do have to get going. There is one thing though. The thing that I was watching, I had an opportunity to see the first 4 episodes of The Man Who Falls to Earth. So if you guys are going to see Doctor Strange next week, you'll be familiar with Baron Mordo, Chiwetel Ejiofor, who is starring this rebooted sequel of The Man Who Fell to Earth, which if you are familiar with this at all, it is an older movie with David Bowie, who starred in the original. So I had an opportunity to sit down and talk with him about it, and I actually have a clip for you guys, and it is a conversation where he's talking about working with Naomi Harris. He is an alien that falls to Earth, and his mannerisms and the things that he says and does are kind of outrageous and ridiculous next to Naomi Harris, who is playing a very grounded and serious character. And the question I asked him was like, how do you guys do that? How do you bounce off of each other and not make it seem kind of ridiculous? Because she's telling a very heartbreaking story. So the clip that you guys are going to see is him giving me the answer to that question. But yeah, I can certainly listen to what you guys have been watching after that.
Well, luckily with Naomi, she's very, she likes to be surprised is how she describes it. She doesn't rehearse very much. Like with, you don't rehearse in a group with Naomi. She likes to go off, do the research on her own, just think about and work out the character and some of the dynamics, and then come to the floor. And she just wants to be kind of engaged and surprised and very alive in the moment. And I'm kind of a little bit different. I like to do all the rehearsing stuff and the kind of, picking apart every bit of the scene and trying to sort of put it back together with everybody else, with the creatives and with the other actors, if I can get hold of them. So what it means is, when we kind of come together, it's like we have these two very different sort of styles of working, but for me, it was really enriching because it kind of constantly kept me on my toes, and I was able to then also, just sort of play against and alongside her in a way that she felt engaged by and satisfied by. So all of those scenes felt very alive to me in a way that sometimes, they don't necessarily always do with various different kind of acting partners. You kind of struggle to get there in the end, or you're finding your spontaneity. But with Naomi, what I find really exciting about her as an actress is that she brings all that kind of that life and that fire to every single day of shooting. So every scene we had to play together, I would walk towards the scene and I would genuinely just feel really excited because I wouldn't know quite what it was going to be, but I knew that it was going to be truthful. I knew that it was going to be engaging. I knew that I'd had to kind of keep on my toes, and I knew that she would respond very, very genuinely to what was going on, that she wouldn't sort of just play along with the scene to make it kind of sit well. She would really want and require a screen partner, and I think that kind of those kinds of demands and engagements, from a fellow actor are really, really rich. They're really special. Especially somebody who is, incredibly talented and able to kind of play in that dynamic. So I never felt. I just felt like our two styles really matched each other and these characters in this story. So I always felt like it was buoyant and alive in the storytelling with her.
So mercifully, we're going to leave you guys. We were going to have a conversation about Halo and Picard and Moon Knight, but it was kind of redundant. We've already had this conversation before, right? But I think what we can all agree on is that, amazingly, these shows, which some of us have felt were kind of mundane or not particularly good, markedly improved, like surprisingly, especially at least for me, Picard and Halo. So more of that, please. Jammer, you said you were watching something about Fantastic Beasts, which we reviewed a couple of weeks ago. What was it?
Oh, no. So I mentioned that I usually watch the pitch meetings from Ryan George that are great, but I think his for Fantastic Beasts was one of the best in a while. And it made me just triply realize, this movie was a mess. It was quite the mess, I will say. I've also been watching Severance, which is on Apple TV Plus. You should also watch it if you haven't. I'm only 4 episodes in. I know I'm like late to the party on that one, but that's all right. That's okay. I'm here for it. And there's a lot of other. I still need to catch on a lot of other seasons. I have to watch season 2 of Morning Show still. I have to watch season 3 of Sex Education. I have to watch season 3 of Master of None. Season 2 of like a million other shows. Season 3 of like a million other shows. It's just, it never ends. It never ends. And I'm not a binger, so that doesn't help.
Yeah, it's nice to not be in a content desert, right? Like we have a bunch of stuff to choose from, which is great.
But I feel like when you're in a content desert, you really appreciate what you have and you really just sort of steep yourself in it. And you become like those Star Wars fans that we hate so much.
I don't hate anyone. I love everyone. I love everyone. Especially you,
Me too.
Listener. And if you like what you heard, dear listener, who I, of course, love very much, do all the socials, like, rate, comment, subscribe, share. We definitely appreciate it. Also, LM Online has other great programs for your listening pleasure. Where else? On the website, and of course, the GenreVerse Podcast Network. We are building up our Discord. It's been a lot of fun. So if any of the topics that you've heard today, you want to jump on, agree, disagree, yell, scream, respectfully, of course, come on and do it on the Discord channel. We'll have those links for you. And it's going to be exciting. Next week on the show, we're going to be having a conversation about what else Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. So stick around next week. It's going to be a blast. Other than that, Danny, where can you be found?
I can be found on my living room table building the Batmobile out of Lego and the new Back to the Future Lego. That's where you'll find me.
And Jammer, where can you be found?
You can find me on Twitter at Jam the Writer, and all of my books under the name AJ Cerna on Amazon and Audible.
And you can find me tweeting, maybe, and Instagramming from Sir Jonesy's on the website as well as on the Discord. Other than that, folks, thanks to Kyle on the ones and twos. Appreciate everything you do, and we will catch you all next time. Hasta lasagna.
Don't get any Anya. Mission accomplished.
You gotta save some for Danny.
Danny doesn't like it. I give it to him.